Hello, everyone. It's my, fifth class, and I'm still getting used to, it's going to take quite a while to get used to all the behind-the-scenes things that you don't see. Volume, music, all that stuff. So, let's start us the timer so we get that beautiful little thing. Okay, my name's Rachel. Welcome to Virtual Y. This is going to be like a minute to slow down. Let's just do that, because that's what I need. And then we'll get to the breath work. So you can just find a comfy place, seated preferably. And if you're like me and you've just been running around, doing whatever the heck, our heart rate gets up, our blood pressure rises, the heat forms in the body. These can all be wonderful things. And when we want to sit down and teach a class, or if we want to sit down and pay attention to a class, especially one about de-stressing, it can be helpful to slow down in the beginning. So let's take some breaths together. However it feels good to you, just get some oxygen into your body. See if you can notice your heartbeat. Sometimes it's pounding so loud we can hear it, or we can feel it. Or maybe you even place your fingers over your pulse. Got a few pulses you can find. This is probably my favorite. It's the easiest to go to. And just notice what it is. Right? You don't have to count it. Just be mindful of the pace. And this is biofeedback, so we don't need any fancy tools, although those can be really fun. This is just good old natural biofeedback from listening to our body. In Chinese medicine, we listen to the pulse. And just see if you can notice where it's at, maybe taking some deep breaths, see if you can calm it. This is a good segue into the focus for today's breathwork class. Oh shoot, I don't have my water. I might run and go get it. Today's class is going to be about the heart. So we're going to use that as a focus. You know, coming to breathwork practices, you are welcome and have permission to come to these classes and breathe for things other than what I say we're going to do, or other than the topic. Breathwork is individual to the person doing it and why they're coming to do it. And because these are classes and we try to spice it up and keep things new-ish and show you and teach you new things to do, I'll likely have some, like a focus every time. And then maybe sometimes we just may breathe to breathe. So breathing for the heart can mean whatever that means to you. There's nothing that we need to be specific about there. And if you're having a hard time deciphering what does that mean, you know, as we were going into this, you know, thinking about how hard the heart works. High blood pressure is prevalent in the West. A lot of people have it. A high resting heart rate is very prevalent, especially if you use stimulants, caffeine. That'll get it up there too. This keeps our body in a stress response. And the stress response can be helpful. We need it. And if we're chronically in it, that's when we see things like a chronic high resting heart rate, chronic high blood pressure, just the feeling of unease, like I'm doing too much. All right, I gotta slow down. but I don't want to, because in order to live in this life, I gotta go, 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 do, reach the next milestone. And again, it's helpful to have that yang energy. And like, we just have so much of it in our society. So today, let's focus on the heart. You can think about opening your heart, right? Opening the chest space. We spend so much time like this, you know, computers, other computer, phone, reading. And then our body structure naturally starts to form in this way. So even if we're not reading or looking at our phone or whatnot, we tend to have our head forward and our shoulders forward. And then we get all sorts of symptoms from that. So this can be good just to focus on opening this space, the heart and the lung space. Also, what does the heart represent, right? It represents love, connection, a feeling of belonging. It can represent the color red and passion. So if any of those resonate with you, you can also breathe for the anatomical heart, right? And just think like, man, I know you work so hard for me, and this is an appreciation to you. I want to take some of the load off of what you do. So you can think of all those things as we're breathing. Before we get into the breath work, I'm going to read you our lovely disclaimer about the fast-paced breath. Breathwork can result in intense experiences. You may find it physically, emotionally, or mentally challenging. If you currently have or have a history of the following medical conditions, you are encouraged to check with your doctor prior to involvement. Here is the list: cardiovascular disease, heart attack, high blood pressure, if you take blood thinners, have epilepsy or seizures, glaucoma, osteoporosis, severe asthma, bipolar, schizophrenia, dissociative disorders, history of significant trauma, or if you might be or are pregnant. Not reasons to never do breath work, and it's probably good to check with your doctor before you engage. Also, sensations you may feel are overexertion, physical and emotional body changes, hot and cold, shaking, the tetany where your muscles tighten up, coughing, swallowing, the lips may become like an O shape, mouth might get really dry, shaking, crying, laughing, you name it, it's probably been experienced during breath work. A feeling of passing out or like about to. We want to stop before we get to the passing out. So any of these sensations are okay, and you know what it's like to be in your body. So use your best judgment as to if this is too much for you, slow down. If you're not feeling anything, speed up. I do encourage you to nudge up to your edges. I mostly always encourage that. And again, if you feel like you're overdoing it, please stop and or slow down and then come back. So we're going to do another guided meditation, but this one's going to be with a lovely song. Find a place to lie down right now. Either close your eyes or take a soft gaze, and while you do that, I'm going to talk you through it and get off screen here because I'm going to grab my water. So to start to notice where you are, if you're nervous, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're blah, tired. One of the practices with meditations can be to allow your body to be where it's at and to notice judgment. We're humans, we're mammals, we judge. We have to. What's going to hurt me? What is safe? Right? And it's kind of taken on this negative connotation of judgment, kind of, it can be a pejorative. When in fact it's a really helpful part of our brain. And the unhelpful part can be our Western culture can kind of like dramatize it, you know, and it can start to be unhelpful internal self-talk. So we like judge the judging. So notice if you're doing that. Judgment can sound like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should feel more relaxed. Or I'm new to this. I'm never going to get anything out of this because that's what always happens to me. I'm never good at this type of thing. Or a lot of times when we're with other people, we judge ourselves against the other person in the room or the class. Like, they're doing it better than me. I'm doing it better than them. Why do they sound like that? They're annoying. Oh my God. Go all over the place. In the beginning, when we start to recognize and be mindful of our judgment, it can be really loud and can be really nasty. So one of the best things I learned when I started to really focus in on that judgment piece is to not shame it. Okay, these people are really annoying me because they're breathing too loud. Notice the judgment of how they're breathing, too loud. And I say, woof, there's the judgment. Okay, something about me is getting irritated. That's okay. I don't like the feeling, and I'm going to allow my body to be irritated, not like give it permission to get up and like go punch somebody, right? I'm dealing with all of this internally. Although there are times and places that are good for a good yell or scream, which we do in breathwork classes. So again, if you're just starting to notice the internal judgment, notice the shame that likely comes in to shame the judgment, right? Our bodies are an ally. There are reasons we feel the way we feel. And part of the goal is to recognize it and let it be okay. And then maybe see if we can start to, sometimes the bite of the judgment gets a little less, and then a little less, and a little less. So I want you to start to feel the weight of your body on the floor, noticing the internal self-talk, allowing it to be there. Keep coming back to the breath, paying attention to that. Letting your belly rise and fall. And then whenever you feel ready, we're going to start the active breath. So if this is your first time, why don't you just open your eyes and look at me. It's a 3-part breath. Inhale through the tummy, chest, exhale. Tummy, chest, exhale. All in and out through the mouth. Join in when you feel ready. So I'm going to stop, because if I continue to do that, I will not be able to be present with you. But I want you to continue the breath. That pace that I was just doing was kind of an average pace. Feel free to play around with the pace. Know that oftentimes in the beginning of the breathwork practice is often when we can feel the backlog. So that I don't want to do this, the heebie-jeebies, like we just want to shake. Go ahead and shake. Wring your arms out. Nod your head side to side. Sometimes just sitting up for a second and like just taking a minute and then lying back down and getting back into your practice is just fine. But please don't sit up if you feel dizzy. More like grab your legs. Give your legs a hug. Belly, chest. Exhale. This practice can be difficult when we feel like we're alone. I want you to remember that I'm here with you. And I want you to remember that you're not the only one watching this. Even if you're watching the recording, the energy of the other people that have been watching this has its imprint on this. Picture everyone who has ever tuned into this class. Their energy is still a part of this class. They've watched it, they've witnessed it, they've given their time and energy to it. You can lean on that. This can be, like working out on your own, especially in the beginning. It's like, I just don't want to do that. And then you go home. Or if you're like watching a virtual live video and you're by yourself and it's your first few times, it's like, I'm kind of like want to do this, but I'd rather just go do something else, right? That's when we get to that backlog. And that's why it can be really helpful to have a personal trainer or watch a breathwork virtual or do an in-person class, right? That's the other thing about mammals. When we feel like we are to be held accountable by other people, we're more likely to follow through on the thing we said we were going to do. You can use that to your advantage. So remember these sensations if you're feeling numbness and tingling in your hands and your feet. If you're starting to get a little dissociative or you're kind of going into an altered state of consciousness, again, these things are okay. You be the judge. We want to nudge you up to your edges. We are not looking to blast the doors open or to kick you off your edge. Like, think of it, 1 foot in this reality, 1 foot in wherever this practice takes you. Feel free to fly away, but keep an anchor to this present moment. It can often be helpful if you feel like you're flying away to picture an anchor coming out of your sacrum, so like your tailbone, falling through the floor wherever you are, hitting Mother Earth, and continuing to go until you find something to anchor onto, whether it be a rock or a tree root or some fun, expensive artifact. Wrap your anchor around there. So you can still float around and the anchor keeps you solid and stable and grounded. We're still with that active breath. So we're going to do something in this practice that we haven't done before, and it's a scream. So I won't scream because I don't know if these walls are soundproof, and I don't want to freak people out. And you most certainly can scream. I'll make a little bit of noise to be there with you. If we were to do this in person, come to the in-person classes, which we don't currently have, but we're thinking of the fall of 2023. We hopefully will be able to scream. I'll have to talk to a few people. But if anything, it's like we just make a guttural noise just to get some of the stuck energy out. We don't often scream in the air for seemingly no reason, unless we're like, we can all think of a few times when we've been so angry and so pissed off that our lid explodes. We do it in this practice, so maybe the lid exploding doesn't quite explode, right? We have control over this practice and a say of what we're willing to let go of and process during these practices. So in other parts of life, when we're not mindful and in practice, the explosions may happen less because we've already allowed the steam to come out during our practice. Does that make sense? So when we're ready to scream, I'll count you down, 3, 2, 1. It'll be more towards one of the more active songs. So we're still kind of in the quiet song phase. And I want you to just let loose. So be mindful of where you are. Often, like if you can find a pillow, maybe you like run and grab a pillow, or you can also just put your arm over your mouth. Grab a blanket, whatever. If this is your first time, this may feel really, really uncomfortable for you. And you might be thinking, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And that's fine. You don't have to. Or maybe you're like, I'm curious, and I've never done this. I don't get it. Like, why? Let that all be there. I encourage you to make some kind of noise. If it's available to you, if you're a seasoned vet with breathwork and you're like, I got it. I was hoping the last 2 classes that we were going to scream. Maybe you already did scream the last 2 classes. Go for it. The last class, I believe we did, oh no, those are on demands. Go check them on demands. I don't think they're up yet if you're watching in June of 2023, but there are 5 breathwork classes, and one is a playful breath. I can't remember quite what we called it, but it's where we make noise. So we're gonna start doing that now. And if you want more of that flavor, you can go watch that on demand. So we're going to ease ourselves into that scream, right? Ease ourselves into the big release by making some playful noises. So they can sound like really anything. Sometimes it's just increasing the noise of your sigh. So it could be a try that on. Now you're going to be working a little bit harder, so you might start to amp up your sensations. That's okay. Other things this can sound like, or like a growl, and you can smile when you're doing this. All right, we're getting to a little bit more uppity songs. So these songs are purposeful. They're meant to go with the flow of the kind of breath that I want you to be in. Now, it's totally fine if there's an active song and you just want to chill. And as you can hear, there's a little bit more like bass and whatever the heck. It's kind of electronic, so I can't quite tell, like drums. I suppose that's a bass. Percussion, right? So you can use that for a feel. Just maybe start breathing a little faster, maybe a little deeper. And I think we're gonna do the scream with this song. So again, playing around with the noises, like a siren. Allow that fire to build, allow the heat to build. And we're gonna do the scream. I'm gonna muffle mine over my mouth. I have lip gloss on. I'm probably gonna get rid of it, but you probably can't see it anyways, all right? So as I count down, at the 1, let it out. As long and as hard and as loud as you wanna go. 3, 2, 1. You also might start hacking, which is great. Take a sip of water if you need to. Also, feel free to keep screaming. If that just unleashed a fury, trust that. See that as medicine. Let it out. That's what this is all about. Get rid of it. And you don't even have to know what you're getting rid of. It may be obvious to you, like I've had a stressful week. Oh man, I just got into an argument with this person, and this person sent an email, and I don't know how to respond, and somebody rear-ended me, like whatever. It could be something that happened to you 10 years ago that you're still holding on to, and you're like, why the heck am I thinking about that? Trust that. Part of this practice is learning to tap into your intuition and allow yourself to make the noises and look the ways that our society tells us are wrong. Don't do. Don't scream. Don't cry. Don't show emotion. Keep breathing, by the way. You're almost done. Our society can often be very inflexible, very black and white, very this is right, this is wrong. This is a beautiful practice to let that go and to be curious. What the heck is in the middle? All right, depending on what this next song is, because I don't remember, we'll either continue the active breath or we'll relax. Okay, this is a good relaxation one, so let go of your active breath. This is where you get to relax, integrate, allow yourself to simply lay there. So I want you to be still in this position. You're lying down. Feel free to, in yoga, what does everybody say? Take up space. Stretch out. If you're crying, let yourself cry. If you just got like this super great idea for a book you want to write, like just let yourself revel in that. And people often are like, well, how should I breathe during the active breath? There is no should. You just let go, or how should I breathe during the rest breath? Because that's where we are. Breathe however your body wants to breathe. Typically, it's a more calm breath. Let sensations take over. Again, you could be getting numbness, tingling, sweating, shaking. This is often when I shake. When my body integrates, it often twitches. I'm going to sit up because I need to watch the time, but I want you to keep lying down. Something to know about these classes is even when the live goes off or the video stops, you can stay in this rest for as long as you have time for and as long as you need. All right, we're going to spend about a minute or so in silence. So I'm going to close here. Again, feel free to stay where you are if that feels good to you. Thank you so much for joining again at Virtual Y. My name is Rachel. Feedback. We have a way for you to leave feedback, or I have discovered a way that you can do that now. I would love to hear your questions, your comments, any shares of how this is going for you, what might be difficult, what are you getting out of this. And the way to do that is right after this recording stops, you scroll down past all the classes, and then you're going to see Virtual Y feedback form. There's a pink button that says submit feedback. So once you click on that, I'm sure there's a form you fill out and you click send. That will go directly to me, okay? I would love to hear what you have to say. That is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching Virtual Y. We'll see you next time.
I'm Sarah, and this is Cardio Dance. Are you guys ready to work out? Let's do it.
I woke up feeling like this gon' be my day. I got that poppin' fire every step I take. Living that wild life.
Through the bag. Go! That's where we want to go.
Last 10 seconds. I'm right here with you. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Y. My name is Erin. I'm Jennifer.
My name is Linda.
My name is Tommy, and today we're going to do a quick step routine.
We feeling like we can conquer the world today?
I wish you all could smell it. It smells so good.
Time. We get stronger in my world. We're going to do it again.
We'll see you again. Keep working hard. You did awesome.